Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, I want to talk about the idea of DBD having a health patch. And when we talk about a health patch, let me define very quickly what that means. A health patch means that instead of, the every 3-month schedule where we get a new killer, a new survivor, potentially a new map, basically something big drops every 3 months. Instead, we are going to be having a patch instead fully dedicated to fixing long-standing issues in the game that have been there for a long time and trying to clean up this spaghetti code that has kind of been plaguing the game. It's basically its entire existence. Now, you may hear this on the surface and be like, well, no duh, that's a no-brainer. Of course, we need a health patch. The game is, perpetually shown that it's going to be having tons and tons of issues for the foreseeable future, and continues to have very strange issues pop up here and there because of how bad the health of the game is on the back end. Case in point, last patch, my main character, our main survivor, Jeff, for some reason had his eyeball popping out of his head. For no reason. They put through a patch that had nothing to do with the character, nothing to do with him, and somehow his eyeball was literally popping out of his freaking skull. How does that happen? Because the back end of this game is incredibly messy, and it has been needing a cleanup for a really long time. We're not even just talking like the general coding of the game itself. We're talking like there are issues in this game that have also been there for an incredibly long period of time. Did you know that Plague's Puke is literally supposed to work differently based whether it's the Vile Purge or the Corrupt Purge? But they work the same. It's not supposed to be that way, but it's been that way literally forever. And they have done nothing about it. They have done nothing about it. There's plenty of other things like Bubba with an add-on that's literally never worked, and plenty of other things that have just kind of been in the game for like such an incredibly long period of time that they just need to go back and clean up, but because they're so focused on constantly putting out content, constantly working on like weird changes like the Unbreakable Mori change, like they're focused on doing so much and keeping so up with that 3-month schedule that they are kind of letting so much of the back end of the game slide downwards, like go in a bad direction. And I think that a lot of people don't see this like as an incredibly big deal, because like for the most part the game just kind of functions, but that there's going to be another patch like the Twins patch or like the Nemesis patch where horrible things happen. If you don't know what happened in the Twins basically didn't work. The Twins, sometimes when you'd pounce as Victor, you would quite literally get stuck in the floor and there would be nothing you could do. Sometimes when Victor was recalled to you, he would start flying into the distance and not come back. And I'm not even joking. That was a thing. It was very weird and strange. and in addition to that, just the main character of the patch not working. Half the killer powers were broken in small ways and some in big ways, and it was the nightmare. It was probably one of the least healthy patches in the game, besides way back when the game was first out and there was like Chainsaw Myers and weird stuff like that. But yeah, that in recent memory, that was the worst health patch that they've ever dropped. But also, that is followed up by the Nemesis patch when the first Resident Evil chapter dropped, where the console version of the game, for some reason, compared to the PC version, just did not run well. Like, literally at all. It ran terribly. A lot of stuttering, a lot of rubber banding. Like, essentially, the console version of the game was near unplayable for months. And I do mean months. Like, it stayed that way for actually a really long time. Like, it was awful. If you played console during that era, you are a champion. You are a king for staying with this game to this point, because I do not know how you suffered through the console version of this game after Nemesis came out before they actually went through and fixed that. So what's the point of my rant with this? Where am I trying to go with this? Is that next big situation, that next big Twins patch, that next big Nemesis patch where a ton of things breaks is right around the corner. I don't know which patch it'll be. Hopefully it's not the night, because that's coming soon. Hopefully it's not the night, but there will be a patch where everything falls apart again. And I think this game already has a tremendously awful reputation for running poorly and having a lot of glitches. And even people outside of the community that plays this game already knows that this game is in a rough spot. And I just wonder how many times, or like there was the Twins, like I said, there was a Twins chapter, there was the Nemesis chapter. How many of those do we get? How many of those do we get before people just start giving up? How many of those do we get before people just kind of start seeing this as just a broken, clunky game and stop investing in it? Whether that be players quitting, players on the outside not wanting to start it, not wanting to get involved. What is the line? Because eventually it's going to be too much. And behavior can't just walk it back by having 3 months of a broken game and just patching it. Like, they will have to actually, like, face the big issues, face the quote-unquote the elephant in the room, that this game runs so terribly poorly. Eventually, they have to address that. And the thing is, they have to address this sooner rather than later. The longer you wait, the worse this will be. The longer you wait, the worse this will be. If your game starts dying for some reason, like say like somebody in behavior says something really off the wall, or they get investigated for something terrible, you're not going to have the goodwill of the game being fun and functional for people to stick with your game. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, I'll add, a lot of people, unfortunately, stick with a game even when bad things are happening or the game seems like it's dying because the game is fun. Because the game is fun, because the game is stable. Behavior's not going to have that if they run into something like this. Behavior's game often isn't fun and a lot of the time is incredibly unstable. So they're not going to have that to fall upon if they find themselves in some sort of controversy or something that actually hits them in a really, really bad way. They're not going to have that fallback. So the sooner they get this done, the better it's going to be for them, because they are going to need that to fall back on if the game starts dying for one reason or another. So they need to do it sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's my take on whether or not I think DBD should have health patch. The answer is yes, and they need to do it sooner rather than later. What do you think? Do you think DBD needs to take a break and do a health patch? Let me know down in the comments below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much for spending time with me today. But I will see you tomorrow. And if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.